Hello and welcome to this edition of FYI Weekly, your official source for City of Greensboro news and information. Thousands of COVID-19 vaccines will be administered in Greensboro thanks to a FEMA-supported community vaccination center approved by the White House Coronavirus Task Force. The vaccination center opens at Four Seasons Town Center on Wednesday, March 10th. The site will be open 7 days a week for a total of 8 weeks, with the capacity to provide up to 3,000 vaccinations daily. Appointments are required. Vaccines are free of charge, even to those without health insurance. A photo ID is not required to prove residency or citizenship. Choose between a drive-through in the parking lot and a walk-in option in the old Dillard's department store location. To reach more marginalized and underserved communities in Guilford and surrounding counties, the main vaccination center will support additional sites and mobile vaccination clinics in communities of need. The federal government will provide the center's vaccine supply, which will be added to North Carolina's weekly allotment from the Centers for Disease Control. Appointments will be available through a centralized system and with assistance from community partners to ensure access among our marginalized populations. Visit yourspot.yourshot.nc.gov for accurate information about the variety of COVID-19 vaccines. To slow the spread of COVID-19 even after you're vaccinated, continue to wear a mask, wait 6 feet apart, and wash your hands often. The International Advisory Committee, or IAC, is accepting candidate applications for its fourth biennial election. Anyone interested in serving on the committee can submit an application today through Thursday, March 18th. The IAC's mission is to create a more inclusive Greensboro for members of the international community. Initially created as a standard subcommittee of the Human Rights Commission and chaired by one individual, the IAC was restructured in 2015 to allow the immigrant and refugee communities to elect a leadership team of 5 members. All 5 leadership seats need to be filled, including a chair, 2 vice chairs, secretary, and executive member. Candidate terms are for 2 years. Candidates must be at least 18 years old by March 18th, submit a completed application with a photo, include a paragraph outlining their work with the immigrant community, and attend one of the 3 required virtual information sessions. Meeting details are listed on the application. The election will take place from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Friday, April 23rd, and from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday, April 24th, at the UNCG Park and Ride parking lot, located across the street from the Greensboro Coliseum on West Gate City Boulevard. This event will be a drive-through to ensure the safety of all voters and volunteers. Online voting will not be available. Voters must be residents of Greensboro and be a high school student or older. A photo ID is not required to vote. For more information, please contact Jody Stanley in the Human Rights Department at 336-373-2505. North Carolina Operation Lifesaver, or NCOL, has a new board chair and president. The board of directors appointed Jim Westmoreland to serve in this leadership role. Westmoreland has a passion for rail safety, serving on the NCOL board of directors since July 2017. He retired as Greensboro City Manager in 2018. Westmoreland served as NCDOT's Deputy Secretary for Transportation in 2011. He has more than 30 years of experience in public and private sector, government, and transportation. In 2020, a total of 12 people in North Carolina lost their lives in rail-related incidents. All but one of these fatalities involved people illegally walking on railroad tracks when they were hit by a train. The other fatality happened at a highway rail crossing when a vehicle was struck by a train. Westmoreland said the most important warning systems you possess to avoid being involved in a rail incident are your senses of sight and hearing. Avoid distractions such as texting or talking on the phone or wearing earbuds. These limit your senses and impact your ability to properly react to your environment. North Carolina consistently ranks in the top 15 states for the highest rail-related incidents. North Carolina Operation Lifesaver pushes its slogan, "See Tracks, Think Train." To learn more about Operation Lifesaver or to schedule a virtual or in-person rail safety presentation, visit the organization's website. The city developed a partnership with Cone Health to share a series of brief and informative videos designed to inspire you to make better choices when it comes to healthy living. Following these tips is an easy way to help each of us improve our quality of life. Let's take a moment to check out today's news for your health.
For most people, occasional lapses in memory are a normal part of the aging process, but sometimes not. As we get older, there are some normal memory errors that we make that are age-related. For example, misplacing your keys, having trouble finding a word while you're talking, even forgetting an appointment. That's not cause for concern. What I see is that when people make these errors much more frequently and they begin to disrupt their lifestyle, then we start to worry that there may be a dementia coming. A lot of people ask me, how can I maintain the memory I have or the thinking skills I have? Sometimes when we forget, it's not that we're forgetting information, but we're not actually absorbing it. So if you're having visual problems or hearing problems, or you've been diagnosed with those and you're supposed to wear glasses or hearing aids, please do wear those and get those kinds of things checked out. Secondly, sleep. Sleep is very, very important for memory. And we find that people who have inadequate sleep or disorders of sleep will have problems with staying alert and also problems with memory during the daytime. Drinking too much alcohol, use of drugs, and smoking. I would recommend stopping smoking because when you're smoking, you're actually taking oxygen out of the brain, and it can actually worsen your health in other ways. Stay intellectually engaged. Doing crossword puzzles or word searches, that's fine, but what research shows us is that when you're doing those activities and it's a social context where you're doing it with other people, it can be much, much more effective to keep you mentally sharp. So, get involved in book clubs, go to dance classes, things like that can be very helpful. Another important thing is exercise, and people don't always realize that exercise is important to brain health. 30 minutes a day, if you can, of aerobic activity can be very, very effective in promoting the health of your brain because you're pumping blood through your brain. Managing stress and depression, that's an important one. I think that a lot of folks who are having memory problems, what we find out is that they're having very stressful lifestyles or they're actually depressed. Many of my patients ask me what they can do in terms of aids to use to improve their memory. First, you can definitely write things down. That's probably the easiest thing to do, either in a cell phone or on a pad of paper. Using a calendar that's in a central location in your home to kind of mark down appointments and important information can be very helpful. Asking people to repeat what they say to you back, even if you think you've heard it, and then rehearsing what you hear back in your own mind can be very helpful in strengthening the memory trace that you get. Another memory aid would be using alarms. So if you have to do something at a certain time to program your watch or your cell phone to give you an alarm to remind you to do something. If you worry that you're having memory problems or you're worried about a loved one having memory problems, I think the first thing to do is consult with your personal care physician. There are many medical conditions that could cause memory loss. Medical conditions such as thyroid disease, vitamin deficiencies. There can even be side effects of medications that can cause memory loss. So you want your physician to be able to review those with you and make sure that that's going fine. Thanks for joining me. I hope this information has been helpful. For more information about memory and wellness, please visit conehealth.com/wellness. I'm Dr. Michael Zelson.
The City of Greensboro remains focused on keeping the public and its employees safe. As a result, library services are being modified. We'll have that story and more news coming up after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. The Greensboro Public Library is once again offering grab-and-go services from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Saturday at all locations. During these hours, customers can quickly select materials, limiting visits to 30 minutes once a day. The idea is to check out and exit the building quickly. In order to ensure customer and employee safety, seating is not allowed, in-house events will not be available, and the public meeting rooms are closed for the time being. Curbside service will continue for customers who wish to pick up materials without entering the building. This service is available from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Thursday and from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. Customers can call their branch to make an appointment for pickup times. 1-hour computer appointments are available at all locations from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Saturday. For more information about library events and resources, please visit the city's website. The city's planning department is seeking proposals for the sale and development of nearly 2 acres in the 300 to 400 block of Summit Avenue. The property, located inside the interchange from Summit Avenue to Murrow Boulevard, is considered a gateway into downtown and the Dunleith neighborhood. The site is also near the downtown Greenway's Murrow Boulevard section, currently under construction. Interested developers should review the request for proposals to obtain instructions on submitting a proposal, as well as details about zoning, available utilities, and the desired characteristics. Proposals must be submitted by 3 p.m. on Thursday, March 25th, to be considered by the Greensboro City Council. Submission requirements are on pages 5 and 6 of the proposal request. The appraised value of the property, which served as a public right-of-way, is $440,000. For more information, contact Jeff Sovich, Senior Planner, at 336-433-7264. The Greensboro Department of Transportation, or GDOT, invites the public to provide input during the 2021 federal certification review of its planning process. Members of the public may watch online as representatives from the Federal Highway Administration and Federal Transportation Administration conduct the review from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Monday, March 8th. To submit comments to federal officials, take the online survey or send written comments to Suzette Morales via email. The deadline for comments is Monday, March 22nd. The Greensboro Urban Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, or MPO, manages the transportation planning process required by federal law. GDOT is the lead planning agency for the MPO. Every 4 years, federal officials conduct this review to determine whether the MPO's planning process adheres to federal statutes and regulations. For more information about the process, visit the MPO website. March Madness takes on a whole new meaning for one local nonprofit. Coming up after the break, find out how Say Yes Guilford is channeling the ACC. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. March Madness is in full effect in Guilford County schools. All 28 high schools are competing for cash, prizes, and bragging rights in Say Yes Guilford's March Madness Scholarship Registration Competition. Joining me now to tell us how this competition works is Brandy Kennedy. She is the Assistant Director of Student Outreach and Post-Secondary Success for Say Yes Guilford. Hello, Brandy. Welcome back.
Hello, Carla. How are you doing today?
I'm well. Thank you so much for joining me. Tell us about this competition and how it works.
Yes, so as you mentioned, Say Yes Guilford's annual March Madness competition is a competition that mirrors the ACC tournament. So it's a bracket-style competition where all 28 high schools within Guilford County will compete based on the increase in their Say Yes application. And this is in line with our county's goal of 100% of FAFSA completion.
Okay, well, you can always get kids on board when there's a competition, and I love the tie-in to the ACC. When will the winner be announced?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, March Madness is in full effect, so beginning March 1, and our winner will be announced on April 5th.
Okay, so there's time for folks to ramp up that registration number if they're falling behind, and I'm sure kids are very competitive, so I'm sure they're catching what the other schools are doing or keeping up with it. Now, you mentioned prizes and giveaways with money. How much money and prizes is Say Yes giving away?
Right. So the incentive there is not only in ensuring that you're increasing your access to scholarships and other post-secondary opportunities, but the other incentives that we are offering for the winning school are going to be a $1,000 donation to the counseling department, but also an incentive to support students that did complete their Say Yes registration.
Okay, always gonna get people involved if you say there's money and cash prizes. Say Yes is often known for the really great workshops that you offer. Will you be hosting any workshops or webinars for the students?
Yes, so as we transitioned in lieu of the pandemic, we've been offering a lot of virtual events. Just yesterday, we offered our SAT Prep Academy, which many people tuned into, but we will continue to offer collaborative events with Guilford County Schools and the College Foundation of North Carolina. And so if you coming up for March, next Thursday, we have an event that is targeted to It's Not Too Late. So understanding that it's not too late to apply to college, but also debunking the myth that community college is not an affordable option. And later in the month, we'll also have an event targeted towards financial aid.
Oh, yes. Plenty of people get tripped up on those financial aid applications, and I think it's always good when you can kind of navigate the process for them. Now, you do often talk about the high school kids getting ready to go to college. Does Say Yes have any support or resources for the younger students?
Of course, I want to emphasize that our mission at Say Yes Guilford is to provide access to support services for students from kindergarten to career. And so with that being said, we have, of course, our high school services that I've mentioned, but in lieu of that, we also have our elementary and middle school support services, which includes our virtual community tutoring program, but also our assessment of college and career for middle school students.
Oh, wonderful. You can't start too soon, and it's always nice to let the younger kids see what they need to prepare for, and that way by the time they get to high school, they're going to have it all together. You do so many wonderful things, so many great projects and events through Say Yes. What would you say is the most rewarding aspect of your work?
So while every day is rewarding and working with students and from all aspects is rewarding, I would say that seeing students transition, and just in 2020, May 2020, we had our first graduating class of four-year scholars. And so with that being said, I believe that that is the most rewarding part of my work. Seeing students not only go through that college application process, but also seeing them on the other end as they graduate college and prepare for their careers and continue to contribute to the Guilford County community.
Well, thank you, Brandy. I'm always inspired when you stop by and share these wonderful tidbits of what's going on with Say Yes. And thank you for sharing about the exciting opportunity through March Madness. And I'm sure a lot of students are going to be competing to the hilt to see if their school can win. And we always appreciate learning about what you're doing at Say Yes. So do come back and keep us posted.
We will, and we ask that everyone follow us on social media at Say Yes Guilford to continue to remain connected to our events, but our community resources as well. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for some useful information about Greensboro as we tell you something about the city. That's coming up after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. One way to stay informed about decisions that impact our city is by attending or tuning in to City Council meetings at 5:30 p.m. on the first and third Tuesday of the month. The fourth Tuesday is reserved for a meeting as needed. Due to COVID-19, the City Council is meeting virtually. The Greensboro City Council meetings are broadcast right here on GTN. The meetings are also streamed live on the city's website and on Roku. City Council meetings usually take place on Level 2 of the Melvin Municipal Office Building located at 300 West Washington Street. To review the council meeting schedule and agendas, please visit the city's website. Here's an opportunity to learn a little something about the city. The Workforce Development Department is taking its services on the road to make it easier to access employment and training services. Thanks to a grant received from the Eastern Triad Workforce Initiative, the department will commission a mobile career center. The state-of-the-art mobile unit will be available to mobilize workforce services directly to communities based on need. The Mobile Career Center will feature the following assets: 12 computer workstations with internet access for members of the community to participate in employment and training services, Wi-Fi capability for residents who do not have access to the internet to check email, participate in online training, as well as to search and apply for jobs. interior integrated monitors, which will enable workforce development staff and partners to facilitate workshops. Exterior monitors will display information, and the mobile unit has an ADA-compliant restroom and wheelchair lift for individuals with mobility issues. Workforce Development is eager to get the Career Center on the road to enhance access to services and assist community members with gaining skills necessary to secure meaningful employment. Coming up after the break, we'll showcase our department spotlight, but first we have an important message about COVID-19.
Remember the 3 W's. Wear a cloth face mask covering, wait 6 feet from others, and wash your hands often. By working together, we can adjust to this new normal and continue to save lives.
Welcome back. The City of Greensboro has more than 20 departments and several divisions committed to serving you, our residents and visitors. Let's go behind the scenes in our department spotlight. In celebration of International Women's Day, Greensboro Public Library hosted a special online Benjamin Bard's workshop called Writing the Body. Writers and non-writers alike were welcome to join the workshop. Facilitated by poets Deborah Kaufman and Melissa Hassard, Writing the Body deals with how memory, truth, and poetry can move us towards healing. Deborah Kaufman is a poet and playwright who has published 7 collections of poetry and several plays. Her most recent collection of poems is God Shattered, which was published in 2019. Melissa Hassard is a poet and the managing editor of Sable Books Hybrid Publishing. In 2017, she co-edited Red Sky, Poetry on the Global Epidemic of Violence Against Women. For more events celebrating Women's History Month, visit the city's website. Straight ahead on the other side of the break is this week's Way to Go GSO Shoutout. Stay with us. As we draw to a close, we always want to end on a positive note with our Way to Go GSO Shoutout. This week's shout-out goes to Greensboro Parks and Recreation. Congratulations to Peeler Community Park for receiving a grant to pay for numerous park renovations. Visitors can look forward to additional parking, a new playground, an outdoor fitness area, and upgrades to the ball field. Way to go, Peeler Community Park. Please remember, as more places continue to open, wear your face covering, wait 6 feet apart, and wash your hands often. That concludes this edition of FYI Weekly, but you can easily stay connected to the latest city news by linking to us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Alexa users can subscribe to our 5-minute flash briefings, which airs on 90.1 FM. Be sure to download our weekly podcast, Talk City Greensboro, and now GTN is streaming on Roku. For all of us here at the City of Greensboro, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.